You may be doing that. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see when we're live on all of these guys. Because as I'm seeing it, it takes a second for it to roll through on everything. I feel quieter today, but I guess readers will tell us if I am actually quiet today. Because it's just early in the morning, so probably I'm just naturally not as loud and abrasive as normal. All right, they all look like they streaming. So day tree. All right, where else? We're gonna. Let's see. Is Bradius? Bradius ain't even in the chat. Yeah. So, where else am I gonna link this guy? Let me see. Somebody was asking about the bishop's daughter, but that story is not online because it sucks. And I'm all fat in the recording. Oh Lord, but I'm all fat in this recording. So what you want from a nigga? All right, let me see here. It's so hard not to just curse and while out and so forth on these streams. Let me see. Am I in the right spot? Yeah, I'm there. And those both in bed. I don't think there's anywhere else I'm gonna blog about this whole thing. Ugh. I've got friends in low places. I'm a true racist. That is the original lyrics from young Hank Williams. I was there, I think. Let me just spam this in LRH every morning, and then I think we can be done with it. Let's see. Oh, I have messages that don't matter. You know, if it's like a highlight on Ryzen, that it doesn't matter at all. I'm sure it's going to be some stupid shit. I still scroll up to it though, like 24 hours of messages. Not case says Zak Zyz is straight bed-stuy pimping. That's true. I was out at 3 in the morning this morning. Could not sleep. Supposedly, when you quit drinking for a bit, you're supposed to sleep better. The reverse is true. I'm sleeping like dog shit. So woke up at 3 in the morning, stared at my phone, played like a game of Race for the Galaxy, and then realized that I would not get back to sleep anytime soon. And, RIP me. All right, well, that's enough of. I should have answered all these texts and stuff prior to beginning this operation, but I did not because I'm lazy. Lazy for being so blue. All right, anyhow, this is not a singing stream, and I don't have enough voice left to do any of this nonsense. So let us begin. Yes, hello, I'm Zak Zyz. This is day 3 of the edit of Three Wolf. So very fortuitous day. I'm a science fiction writer in Bedford Stuyvesant, and I've been doing this for an embarrassingly long amount of time. And I like to live stream when I'm editing so that I don't suffer alone. So yeah, we've been doing this a little bit here. I got raided by a bunch of nerds yesterday. The writing community on twitch.tv is very, very small. So sometimes people will just send all their dumb viewers over to you. I see that we are still getting spammed in the channel. Detox foot pads from Japan, somebody's talking about. And then Nokness, you may remember from many of our other edits, is gone from the chat. All right. And I don't see any sign of logic. He's probably full of chicken adobo, sleeping the dreams of angels. So let me give you a rundown. And this is really just, since nobody is watching at the moment, this is just to fix in my mind where all this shit is at. Hold up. Let me see here. Always. I wonder if I could make my, I'm sure that I could. I need to somehow make my Discord announce every time that I'm streaming so that people can click on my nickname and then be redirected to Goatsy in some way, shape, or form. Oh man, they're talking about Dinty more. I got to get in on this. He was highlighting for the Zak Zyz stream. All right. Well, I can't wait all day for somebody to show up in this thing. We should just commence. Oh, I got 3 people. All right, so now I am going to focus laser in on this story. All right, so what's happened so far in this story is this. Essentially, we meet Three Wolf. No, I guess that was last chapter there. All right, so initially we see a troop of 7, count them, 7, bounty hunters show up at Skywork Keep in search of a bounty on the nigh legendary Three Wolf. And they're met with a crusty old landlord, Lord Malorn Moraney, I guess, of Skywork Keep, who tells them that they are not going to amount to much and that the bounty is 100 ducats, and in general, he is a skeevy old reprobate. Still, you get a little into the past of Flinzer and his flock of merry manhunters and find out that they are destitute and have no real choice but to take this bounty on the legendary Three Wolf. God damn. All right, so with that happening, I think I didn't refresh the chat, and that's part of the whole problemo there. Then next, they set off down the path, presumably in search of their bounty, and in the dead of the night, Three Wolf is there, creeping in the trees. We find that he is attuned with nature, and he convinces a flock of crows to attack these guys while they are sleeping. A host of crows and blackbirds and all kinds of... It's just crows. A host of crows descends on the men and just pecks the ever-living shit out of them, and then they all depart in great haste. I kind of like that there. So the next chapter, and I'm like a little bit sick this morning, so that's Balderdashery is milkness there. All right. In the States, the only real use of the word balderdash is like old dudes that look like barrels, like those bald-headed dudes where they got no neck. When they're in politics, they will occasionally use the word balderdash, hearkening back to a day when that body type was desirable by women. The other way that people will use it is there's a board game called Balderdash, where you get a list of improbable sounding words and you have to figure out which one is the fake word. Right. And just accent, y'all. Am I loud enough to where I am audible here? Because if I'm not, I can go turn up I think my main volume may be a little down. It looks the same to me. So if I'm too quiet, let me know, and I will waddle over and set up the screen. But I think for now we're good to go. All right. So if you've never done one of these streams before and you're just tuning in on YouTube, the way that we do it is we read every line and every word in the story. I read it aloud to hear how it sounds, and then we make changes and edits and so forth. If you are in the listening audience and you make an edit, wonder of wonders, then I will put your point here on this so we can see that Pancakes and Bradius are in a desperate neck and neck tie with Catalyst and Steven Surf impossibly far behind them at 1 edit each. So every accepted edit, I give you a point. If it gets fast and furious, like you are only eligible to get points after I've read the line and taken a look at it. Because if I catch like a comma myself, you don't get the point. You got to be faster than that. If you get the most edits, you win a hat. I think I showed the hat yesterday. And anybody who tosses in edits at all will wind up here in this tome in the acknowledgments page of this little book. If we put it out as a print book, if I only do it as an ebook, you get nothing. No, that's not true. But in the acknowledgments page of the ebook also. All right. Well, we're up pretty early in the morning, so I'm wondering if it's possible to get 2 chapters done. Probably not, just given my general lack of stamina and wherewithal and potency and gumption, and I just ain't got that dog in me, as they say. But I'm going to try anyway, because I'm awake and there is nothing else to do at 3 in the morning, except things that I'm not allowed to do because I'm on this stupid month of not drinking. Mm. Can't read this with ice in my mouth. All right, so Chapter 3. Much as Flinzer hated to admit it, Moraine might be right. After the barrage of blackbirds, Flinzer woke before dawn to a sky gone gray as a grave. He laid half frozen in a copse of shit-spattered ilex. All right, so let's remember what an ilex tree is exactly. I like all the things that we gather. Quercus ilex is hollyoak or home oak, an evergreen oak native to the Mediterranean region. Let me see. Hollyoak is there. Evergreen tree. What is the range? Oh no. Oh, why did I pick ilex? What is the common name for English holly? Oh, there's Ilex vomitorium. I think that there is a kind of. All right, here we go. Yeah, American holly gets a little bit more northerny. So we could have just said holly. Let me see. Oh, I guess this one goes pretty. Ilex oh yeah. So it would have to be Ilex aquifolium for it to be right here because I can see that creeping up on the side of UGA, Norway. Oh yeah, look at this. This is perfect. This is what we want. All right, so just if anybody was wondering, holly is a rugged pioneer species that prefers relatively moist areas, so do I, and tolerates frost as well as summer drought. The plant is common in the Garrigue and Maquis. Also, what is Garrigue? Fragana, low scrubland ecoregion, and then Maquis, shrubland in the Mediterranean. Okay. Invasive species of the west coast of Canada and as well as Hawaii. All right. So why does the earthly range of this tree matter in fantasy? So we're describing essentially like almost a boreal tundra here. And because we're not making up the plants and stuff whole cloth, if and this is only for people who give a shit about trees, but if you say like, hey, I think I was talking about this yesterday, but like imagine that they're wandering around this northern forest landscape and there's a bunch of cactus floating around, or there's a bunch of rubber trees or banana plants or coffee or whatever. In that reader's mind, there is the moment of like, wait, I thought it was supposed to be cold up there. Like those trees don't grow where it's cold. Now, ilex, as we've seen, which is just a fancy way of saying holly, does grow in some of these regions, which I just fact check. I know that I've already fact checked all of these here, but it's one way in which a reader can be knocked out of a story, and in a story where we're already just bludgeoning them with language, you might as well try to get the plants right. You know what I mean? We do the same thing for Zeros and everything else. Like we try to make sure like all our guns line up and all the physics are right and so forth. This is really work that a fancy editor would do, but the kind of editor that I can afford would just be like, yeah, I'm sure that's right. uh, but so anyhow, that is my general practice. And also I like looking up stuff about plants and I just want to know more. And I couldn't remember what the hell ilex was. He laid half frozen. All right. And then the other question, I think laid. He laid. What do we want? Yeah, we want the past tense, but I think I looked this up. All right. Lay refers to a direct object. Lie does not. He was it laid or lied down in bed. Let me see. Why does this always bother me so much? No. This is the worst word in language. Lies. Lie is transitive. Lie, on the other hand, is intransitive. Yeah, lie is fine. Wait, but I have laid. Oh, fuck. All right, what do we have here? Let me see. You lie. Ugh. I can't fucking figure it. Oh, man. Maybe I'm too jumbled to even edit this morning. He laid half frozen in a copse of shit spattered ilex. Two men were missing, and the fire was dark. Black feathers were everywhere. His bedhole. Two men were missing, and the fire was dead. Black feathers were everywhere in his. Uh, black feathers fluttered everywhere, and his bedroll had more holes than a net. The storm of crows was no dream. I think Storm of Crows was like one of the George R. Is it one of the Song of Fire and Ice, whatever things? I think that was actually the. Hold on, I think that was the book where he jumped the shark. Actually, Storm of Crows is a rock band. A Feast for Crows was the fourth of seven planned novels. Yeah. No, not Wheel of Time. The whatever. But yeah, I really am sick. What the hell? All right, well, I'm calling out of work and calling in gay. There we go. Old fatty. I mean, he's allowed to be fat. He's an old man. You know, it's just if you're not going to have any more children, why bother being skinny? You know what I mean? Just get fat and happy, and then die, and then leave space for the rest of us. That's what we should really encourage. Is old people taking degenerate risks and getting whacked on heroin and skydiving and stuff. All the extreme sports should just be people who will definitely die if they break even like a pinky bone. That'd be rad. Anyhow, so after the barrage of blackbirds, Flinzer woke before dawn to a sky gone gray as a grave. Good. He laid half frozen. Uh, let's just use sprawled. He sprawled, half frozen in a copse of shit spattered ilex. How do you pronounce ilex, by the way? It should. Why doesn't it just? I don't know. I'm sure it's ilex. Oh, is it ilex? That's wild. All right, in a copse of shit spattered ilex. Two men were missing, and the fire was dead. Um. All right, cool. Let's try this rebadged one. After the barrage of blackbirds, Flinzer woke before dawn to a sky gone gray as a grave. He sprawled, half frozen, in a copse of shit spattered ilex. His bedroll had more holes than a net. The fire was dead, and two men were missing. Black feathers fluttered everywhere. The storm of crows was no dream. I like the fire was dead last. It's let me see. No, we can't do that because we're trying to get to the fact that he wasn't dreaming the whole thing. The fire being dead is probably the first thing that he would notice. Yeah, I don't think it matters one way or the other. Also, we're not trying to resonate on like a foreboding and cold note. We're trying to resonate on here's the problem and how do we start solving it. All right, for a spell, Flinzer was too cold and afraid to move. Went and Bloodux were gone, along with their gear. The two mutineers must have had enough after the airborne assault. Could he even blame them? Hard-hearted and numb-fingered, Flinzer tried to revive the fire. His striker clacked. The spark. I wonder if there is a C word for fruitless. We can just use in vain. So I think what do we got it here? The I think his striker clacked in vain. The spark sullenly refused to bite. I think this is a place where let's see. Yeah, there's just like a lot of clauses that like these are two closely related clauses. So theoretically, we could have a semicolon here, but I'm not going to put one there just out of my long-standing tradition. But his striker clacked in vain. The spark sullenly refused to bite. His hands cramped. It was too dark, too damp, too cold. He was too old. Yeah. Refusing is wrong. Yeah, we would not go into the past part. Oh, there. Good morning, Tulpa. So Tulpa is on the Make It May train. He finished the last half of a White Claw yesterday, and he will have to run until June 3rd, I think, if he wants to make it through an entire month cold sober. Real talk, hell yeah. Shouts to Tulpa and Mrs. Tulpa right there, who can't sleep either. I'm supposed to get that Epstein machine real soon, but insurance is holding it back because we live in a corporatocracy. All right. So, what I kind of like is that all these commas and clauses and stuff make the paragraph almost as chattery as he must be. Hard-hearted and numb-fingered, Flinzer tried to revive the fire. His striker clacked in vain. The spark sullenly refused to bite. His hands cramped. It was too dark, too damp, too cold. He was too old. Yeah, so I can kind of, I can kind of do an M dash here. His hands cramped. It was too dark, too damp, too cold. He was too old. The eternal woes of life in the elements were as insignificant to Flinzer as flies. The real wound was the way they'd left him. Wow. This is some first year creative writing shit right here. Um, Hard-hearted and numb-fingered, Flinzer tried to revive the fire. His striker clacked in vain. The spark sullenly refused to bite. His hands cramped. It was too dark, too damp, too cold. He was too old. The eternal woes of life in the elements were as insignificant to Flinzer as flies. The real wound was the way they left him. I like that. So we're not saying that these things don't matter to him. We're saying that they're just like kind of flies buzzing around him, and what he's really worried about is these guys bailed on him. I can get with this so far. This is true to the character of Flinzer so far. Bloodux didn't have the guts to shake his hand and meet his gaze before they parted ways. Went didn't bother to thank him for all he'd done or curse him for all he hadn't. This needs to be thank Flinzer. Went didn't bother to thank Flinzer for all he'd done or to curse him for all he hadn't. Let's try with that too and without. Went didn't bother to thank Flinzer for all he'd done or curse him for all he hadn't. Yeah. I think you need the two. No, we want insignificant. So insignificant doesn't mean it has no significance. It means it has diminished significance. Because anything that we mention has significance. Oh shit! What's up, cunts? He's doing like a flyby in his B-17 every day. So insignificant means not significant, not worth considering, unimportant, lacking weight, contemptible, small in size, quantity, or number. No, I don't think we gain anything by removing the in. So significant leads the reader to believe that there is significance somewhere, right? But insignificant, they can just dismiss what I'm going to say there. So in a way, like insignificant could never mean no significance because anything being discussed has some degree of significance. You get into a logic loop there. It's impossible to have something discussed that has zero significance, otherwise you wouldn't be discussing it. So it's staying right there. Let me see. I don't mean to like strike you out. It may be that I'm just cranky, and I will warm up to suggestions in a little bit here. So don't lose heart, because I just am running on about 3 hours of sleep here. So I think we do need the two. There, we need the preposition. Well, yeah, I mean, also like doing this online is a little bit of like defending a dissertation or something like that. You have to justify why things are there. And often I'm wrong, and I'll realize like mid sentence, like, oh no, maybe they're right. And sometimes I have to just seep on a suggestion for a little bit. I told you guys before, but like I had one editor that made some suggestions, and she was right, and it took me like 7 years to figure it out, and then that's how Lemon Maybe came around. So yeah, just the character trait of stubbornness is deep within me. So let's see. Season after season, they'd shared Flinzer's successes and sorrows. Now they slunk away like weasels in the dead of the night. This might be. Let me see. I'm always pretty blunt, I think. Too blunt. This might be a spot where, instead of now. Season after season, they'd shared Flinzer's successes and sorrows. How could they slink away like weasels in the dead of the night? They didn't even have the decency to put another log on the fire. All right, so this is a straight callback to that "Put Another Log on the Fire" song. I don't know how, if that's cliche or not, but all right. So I'm relatively happy with that paragraph here. Flinzer half wondered if he ought to hunt the deserters down. So I think half wondered you can't get away with in that center. I do like half wondered in the context of like having irregular language throughout it. Flinzer considered if he ought to. Yeah. Yeah, let's try that. Slinking away, dead of night. No, those are both too commonplace to be cliches. They're useful parts of speech, and they did slink away in the dead of the night. This is exactly what happened there. Flinzer contemplated rousing the others. Would he contemplate or would he considered? Because contemplative is it's got like more of a round, like sitting on a stone, watching a river type thing. Flinzer considered rousing the other. Mm-hmm. Flinzer considered rousing the others to hunt the deserted. I don't like how considered sits in the sentence. Flinzer thought. Flinzer thought of rousing the others. Flinzer considered the idea of rousing the others to hunt the deserters down. So we're adding some words here. He's not mulling. As so here's the thing. Like his initial thought is that he wants to like rouse everybody and go beat these guys up, right? But that's not something he can actually do. He might consider the idea is no good. Flinzer considered. This is fine. Flinzer considered rousing the others to hunt the deserters down. Buttocks they could surely get. Okay, and so this is an excuse to and just this is like a roll call for characters here. This chapter is the work that it is doing is establishing these characters and the relationship between them. Now we did a little work in the last chapter about showing that like one of the men was unsatisfied, that that Flinzer is the one that's like tying them all together. So we're developing a little here. This chapter's purpose is to name these characters, to give the reader some kind of idea who they are, and to give like a little background on all of them so that we care about them when they're all slaughtered at the end of the story. So Buttocks they could surely get. The big man was a whaler from west of Worth, more of a bruiser than a trooper. For years, at the back of the pack, there was always bow-legged Buttocks, plodding along with that huge double-headed axe. Plodding along with his huge double-headed axe strapped between his shoulders. So no longer here. No longer. Let's see. Is it time to... Yeah, okay. No longer. Is that really adding anything? No. No, I don't like no longer at all. Let's just take it out. All right, so we need the preposition there for clarity. If the two men split up, conditional, Flinzer gave even odds Went could give him the slip. This is a tough sentence. All right, if the two men split up. Let's see. If the two men split up, Went gave even odds that Went. Oh yeah, there we go. No, it's future tense there. Let's see. What of the other? If the two deserters should split up, Went would likely escape. Wentley Larone was a rapacious rogue with a Norton brogue. For years, Went had eked. Let me see there. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like that. For years, Went eked a lawless living in the accursed Simblewood, pitch-capping renegade Wendigs and poaching blue-horned deer. Eventually, Went crossed too many tribes and burned too many border lords. They rolled him right out of Norda. Where could he go now? It was a decade later, but few would forget such an unfortunate face. Knowing this, the two turncoats would surely trudge south. There we go. Cool. Cool. They rolled him right out of Norda. Where could he go now? It was a decade later, but few would forget such an unfortunate face. Flinzer doubted the pair would part ways. The two turncoats would surely trudge south, on a long and hundred trek through bogs, barrens, and boonies. Snow was on the way. Already a few wayward flakes drifted down from on high in prelude. Oh, yeah. Jira says, "What up, my Zizza? Jira up in Hira. That's what's happening." Hell yeah. All right, Jira. Try to get some work done this morning. Uh, let's see. Instead, the two turncoats would surely trudge south. Let's see. Oh, I did take your sprawl. God damn it. Oh, milkness. Ugh. Now we got to add more lines to this thing on the edit list. God, killing me. All right, hold on. Let's give her like the most unfortunate color I can. There we go. Nice. And then I think pancakes should have kind of like a tan syrupy color. Let's do there. Catalyst. Let's make him blue. Let's see. What are we going to do? And then Bradius, I would say that that's like an orange red. There we go. Rorange, as they call it. Why do I get dung green? Wait, hold on. Let's do it even worse. Let's see. There we go. The color of rot. No, it's just to razz you. That's all. And then Steven's stuff stays white because I don't know who the fuck that guy is. All right, so through bogs, barrens, and boonies, snow was on the way. Already a few wayward flakes drifted from on high in prelude. That's too much, right? That's way too much. I think we can just do snow is on the way. I don't think flakes drifting down in prelude. I mean, there has to be some kind of limit on how stupid we get with it. Already gone too much with the alliteration. Right. But so alliteration, like we can have a ton of alliteration and internal rhyme and so forth. But we can't have ham-handed shit like a few flakes drifted down in prelude because it's like it's not that serious of a story. So You can have your prose be purple if the purple is all kind of the same shade, is what I'm saying here. But that's a different kind of, it's like a dark and stormy night type overblown nonsense. So we're stylizing this in a different way, and we need to have some kind of consistency with it. So um, I guess the joke of this story should be the goofy language and not the overwrought phrases, um, as much as is possible. So no idea writing was. I mean, we're overcomplicating it here. Like if we weren't overcomplicating it, people would not be watching this and commenting. We are trying to make it complicated to waste time, so that we don't have time to contemplate our mortality or how much money we owe the IRS or other stuff like that. So it's intentionally complicated. This is not the right way to write a story, right? This is like somebody has been writing for years and years, and they want to do wacky shit to keep themselves interesting. So that's what's happening. The right way to write a story is just to hammer this cocksucker out, and then let Chat GPT do all the work, and then just you make your edits. So, I digress. All right, Flinzer finally got the fire going. More from stubbornness than skill. I like that. Flames licked up and revenge flashed in his eyes. He could run them down. 3 days, maybe 4, and the deserters would be out of food and have to forage. Those two didn't know any tricks Flinzer hadn't taught them. He could swoop down upon them and step on their necks for their disrespect. The notion had a certain sadistic savor, but Flinzer knew it was fantasy. There was no profit in such pursuit, and morale was in short supply. If he started settling scores to assuage his petty pride, is it assuage or assuage? Assuage.
Assuage.
No, that's true. I can't believe I said assuage. Lord. I mean, to be fair, not a lot of people say assuage. If he started settling scores to assuage his petty pride, it actually works a little better as assuage in the sentence. So cool. The others would mutiny. Bitter as it was, he had to be the bigger man. Again. And so this is going to be a common theme for Flinzer throughout the story. He is constantly Julian assuage. Lol. He is constantly having to like swallow his pride, and he has to eat a lot of shit in this story. Like when he's barking on all fours like a dog, when he is holding his tongue at the drawbridge. I think at least 2 or 3 more times throughout the story, he has to just buckle down and take it, and it's a critical part of his character. Had to be the bigger man again. Let's make this a separate paragraph. Cool. And so I'm glad that we cut out the no longer there, because there's only so many like direct thought italic quotes that I can fit into this whole thing. All right. So I'm happy with that part of the chapter so far, where Flinzer is considering tracking these guys down. We get a little information about them. We get some insight into who he is and how he thinks. And like the moment where he's like scared to wake up for the cold because he knows shit is going to be terrible. This is all good. Let me see. Although I see a logic loop here. Oh, okay. I saw a logic loop for a second, but it turned out to be a wrong one. So I thought like they would have built the fire back up after the attack by the crows and so forth. But what I was forgetting is that they still had to have a guard posted, and the guard would have just that they deserted and leave a log on the fire. Okay, cool. So this is just like an internal what have you. They gone? Cocker's croak broke the silence. He eyed the bare earth with blood. The snow was began to stick. Oh, I already saw that shit. Okay, there we go. You don't get a point for that. I already did it. Oh, you want to change once was for had been? All right, well, let's try it. Are they gone? They gone? Cocker's croak broke the silence. He pointed at the bare earth where Bloodux's bedroll once was. The snow began to stick. He pointed at the bare earth where Bloodux's bedroll had been. The snow began. No, I like that it gets into the alliteration a little bit. Bloodux's bedroll had been, but the had fucks it up. I like once was there just because it's a little bit more old timey and fantasy. Flinzer blinked at the stupid question. Cocker was the second son of a Tikhur merchant, bedeviled with the archipelago's archetypical high opinion of oneself. uh, let's see. Let's see. We could make it, instead of bedeviled, we could make it a curse with the archipelago's archetypical high opinion of oneself. I kind of like bedeviled, though. Let's see. Cocker was once the captain of a clinker-built cutter, or so he claimed. Flinzer couldn't conceive of any self-respecting navy giving Cocker command of a rowboat. Captaincy or not, Cocker was a fierce fighter, a decent drabber, and a helpful heel. Always, Flinzer could rely on Cocker to say something stupid and supply a straw man fit to flog. All right, so this is getting deep into the letter. I must have been so in my cups as I was writing this. Let me get all this bullshit out of my pockets. Easing into this. If I put those keys there, I'm gonna lock myself out of my horse. I can tell right now. All right, settling in, boys. Let's read through it again. Flinzer blinked at the stupid question. Cocker, let's just make it dumb. Let's tone it down a little bit. Because it's like obvious. Flinzer blinked at the dumb question. No, that doesn't work. Yeah. Flinzer blinked at the stupid question. Cocker was the second son of a Tikhur merchant, bedeviled with the archipelago's archetypical high opinion of oneself. Bedeviled with the archipelago's archetypical high opinion of oneself. That's crazy. You shouldn't do that. Cocker was once the captain of a clinker-built cutter, or so he claimed. Flinzer couldn't conceive of any self-respecting navy giving Cocker command of a rowboat. Captaincy or not, Cocker was a fierce fighter, a decent drabber, and a helpful heel. Always, Flinzer could rely on Cocker to say something stupid and supply a straw man fit to flog. Oh my god, there's probably like a lot of so you I guess you could raise an eyebrow. Oh, he could cock an eyebrow. No, I could do cocked an eyebrow at Cocker. No, we can't do that. It's too confusing. Sorry, Jira. Oh, this is what I want. So later in the story, maybe we can cock an eyebrow at Cocker. But here, where we're just establishing who the character is, we don't have the bandwidth, right? Because the reader is still learning names here. So we can't use a pun on his name as they're learning the name. It's too much. I got to give him some breathing room to remember who these characters are, because his name comes up in the line before. Flinzer blinked at the insipid question. I could call it an insipid inquiry if I really wanted to be an asshole. That's too much. Flinzer blinked at the insipid inquiry. Ooh. No, I know inquiry is too far. All right, so show of hands in the chat. How many people know what a drabber is, if anybody? I'm gonna assume nobody. Really and truly, but I do know what it is because I had to write the fucking story. But yeah, if you know what it is, type it in the chat. Don't Google it, because I'm really just polling to see who knows what the fuck I'm talking about. It is a very archaic word, and I may not be able to get away with using it, but I'm going to leave it for now. Any coffee? I used to hang on a Vampire the Masquerade roleplay chat, and let me tell you how many of them cock their eyebrows. I know it is. Oh, what's happening there? I don't think I can do the one eyebrow thing. I should really learn, but I'm too old, I think. I'll probably give myself wrinkles trying to make that happen. All right. No, it's not true. I'll never wrinkle. I'll be a 14-year-old boy for eternity. Any coffee? Ives wondered aloud. There was only a little left, but Flinzer figured they could use a boost. Tomorrow wasn't promised. He produced the little pot from his pack. Oh, no. Why? He pulled the little pot from his pack. Let's see. Butter knife. Shit, man. Cocoa butter is good for you. What do we got here? There was only a little left, but Flinzer figured they could use a boost. Tomorrow wasn't promised. He pulled the little pot from his pack. Ives and Ames stirred with interest at the sound of the silver clasps. Clasps. Ives and Ames stirred with interest at the sound of the silver clasps. Stripes slept on. It was hard to do those S's there. So, they split. Can't say I blame 'em, Cocker dared. Rough welcome last night. Even the birds are set up against us. No. Rough welcome last night. Even the birds are set against us, Flinzer deigned a reply, now that the others were listening. He endeavored to turn the venom outward. Half his task was keeping the men from turning on each other. A lot of rough nights of late, Cocker continued. Flinzer sat down the silver he would set down the silver pot. Flinzer set down the silver pot. The confrontation was a long time coming. He'd hoped to make it to town before an argument erupted. The confrontation was a long time coming, but he'd hoped to make it to town before the argument erupted. A hot meal and a night of drinking might have smoothed things over. No such luck. The showdown was now. Bad year. Our luck's been rough, Flinzer agreed. I guess Went and Bloodocks had enough. Ives and Ames were wide awake now. Watch. Oh, wait. Ives and Ames were wide awake and watching. The tension cried louder than a cockerel. Is it cockerel or cockerel? Yeah. Cockerel.
Cockerel.
Okay. I had it right. The tension cried louder than a cockerel. Stripes snored on. Stripes. Okay, so I want to come on too many cocks. No, we've barely gotten to cocks yet. Stripes was an old Cimmerian. So it's this is a place where just our general desire for lack of repetition. When you're introducing character names, it's sometimes helpful to have a couple repeats in there just so that you can get them down. So Stripes was an old Cimmerian galley slave who'd worked every port on the lake. Flinzer had seen him sleep through shipbreakers. He was stoic and slow. So in the context of the world, they use shipbreaker to mean hurricane. I like that a little better. Flinzer had seen him sleep through earthquakes and monsoons. So that gives me like a little more space because we're doing a third repetition of Stripes. Flinzer had seen him sleep through earthquakes and monsoons. Stripes was still. Fuck, let me take a drink on this one. Stripes was stoic and slow, by far the best of them with a bow. A lifetime ago. A lifetime ago, Flinzer sprung Stripes from a wretched hold and gave him a second chance. So wretched hold, let's see. And the hold isn't even where the rowers sit. Um, 3 banks on each side. Trireme. Let's take a look at the trireme. Replica. How many rowers? 3 rows. 200 men. 30 regular crew. Rowing an ancient Greek trireme. Okay, so it's not. They're not like really in a. Oh, check this guy out. Dope. Look at their little thing. All right, so. Okay, so let's change it up a little bit here. Flinzer. Right, give me 1 second. Mm-hmm. All right, so what's the word for when you capture a ship? Let me see. Apprehend, collar. I guess there's not a whole deal there. Oh, did I blow my nose into the fucking microphone like a complete amateur? I gotta put a mute button on this thing. Let me see. Oh, it was a really loud fuck. I should have turned away or left the room or something. I'll think about that next time. Captain of a... Marley. What the hell is a Marley? Let's see. I'm still writing it. So, a lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop captured the captain of a Yarly privateer. Uh, boarding ship, go aboard ship. I feel like there's a word for attacking ship. Yeah. Assault boat, torpedo boat, hydroplane. That's not what I want. Salvage. Let's take a look. Let's see. Naval combat synonyms. Bullfight. Broilment. Oh, that's a good one. Seized, commandeered. All right, all right. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop. Yeah. I want to work some adventure in here, but this is really not the point of this thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tracking is on foot. Let's see. Well, no, you can track things at sea. Um, but let's see. Yeah, yeah. They seem landlubberish. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, Flinzer does hate water he can't see the bottom of there. So this is a story just within them attacking a Yarly privateer. Maybe they attacked it at dock. Maybe he like chased them all over the ocean. Although there's not an ocean in the story. You don't have oceans in this world. But anyhow, uh, Friends is true. Mm-hmm. Chased down and boarded a Yarly privateer. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop chased down a Yarly privateer who'd gone full private. I like chased down and boarded. Um, I wish there was like a word for here. Naval glossary. Okay. Ironclad gunboat, age of sail, impressment. Yeah. Terms every sailor should know. Naval terms and acronyms. Catapult. Here, hold on. Sortie. No, sorties are. I need to read like master and commander. I'm sure this word is in there like 50 times. It's supposed to be good too, but I haven't seen it. I'm boycotting Russell Crowe. Let me see. Not actually. Although his movies are generally shit. Let me see. Mm-hmm. I said privateer twice. Yeah, we're still composing this one there. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop pursued a Yarly privateer who'd gone. Yeah, yeah. Who'd gone rogue? Rogue is a good one though. We will use rogue. Let's see. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop pursued a Yarly privateer turned pirate from port to port for an entire sea. We could do privateer come pirate. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop pursued a Yarly privateer who turned pirate from port to port for an entire season. Let me see. I like the idea of him like ramming the ship and stuff. This is cool. I like it's taken fucking forever to get the paragraph out, but I like the idea that this is how they met. Let me see. It's because it's too long. Yeah, that's why. Let's see. Oh, what's the name of the bay in Laz? Do we have to go all the way to the Rapasaurus for this? Yes, we do. All right, hold on. Well, avert your guys, people. Let me just make sure I don't have anything super criminal in this. Where's Rapasaurus? Okay. Maybe it's called. Oh, the book is like 6 megs. Fuck. All right, it's not that bad. Um, let's see. Hadriate and Revel. This is where we're at in the story. Page 552 in Rapasaurus, if you were wondering. Let's go all the way. Command up. There we go. Okay, across the bay. Oh, we don't name the bay. Uh, 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 uh. Revel's cheeks reddened. Oh my god. What is a dead idiot? Driftwood. Let's put him in this bay. Pelican. Pellicle Archipelago. Oh, I like Pellicle Bay. All right, let's use that. Nice. Yeah, that's a rewrite. I mean, I think we edited most of the first book, which is only about like 100 pages long or so. Um, let me see. Ramming the ship sounds like it would fuck their own. Ships were actually reinforced to ram each other. Back in like the age of triremes and stuff, they built like the front of the ship so that they could ram other ones and just like bust them in half. It was a common naval tactic. Well, not common, but it was definitely something that went down. Like dudes would ram each other, and the pirate captain was always let's see. Yeah, yeah, like the things that just any almost any crazy shit that you can imagine at some point men have done it in battle. We're absolutely absurd when it comes down to war. Yeah. Um it was also like a tactic in I think World War II, where the Russians didn't have any ammunition, so they would just take their yaks and just ram them into German planes and then parachute down, or usually just get shot up. Oh, yeah, we're dumb. No, let's not have another in the dead of the night. Yeah, that's why I just changed it to Yarly. Yeah, don't like give me a second while I'm struggling to rewrite the thing. Perfect. Nice. Whew. No, don't worry about it. It's just yeah. It's like a little dance there. That All right. So here's our new paragraph to establish Stripes as a character. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop pursued a Yarly privateer who turned pirate. I like this here. We can add that he's outsailed because they are like kind of landlubbers, and so the captain is just like giving them the slip. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop took a contract to catch a Yarly privateer who turned full pirate. For an entire season, Flinzer was outsailed by the Yarly. Forced to anchor or forced to take anchor. Uh, Let's see. In Master and Commander, the ship they're chasing always manages to stay at the extreme of the horizon from its pursuer. It's tense just seeing it at the very edge of perception. I like it. Could we say always a horizon ahead? The renegade ship danced from port to port, always a horizon ahead. I kind of like that. It's uh yeah, that works. And I like also that this is like we can build in here that Flinzer is like so fed up. Mm-hmm. I like. I want to get Moonless Midnight in there somewhere. Uh, well, all these are already established, fueled by frustration. Flinzer. Oh, I kind of like that. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, this is good. I like it. Fueled by frustration. Flinzer. Fueled by frustration, Flinzer flew into the storm-tossed bay and rammed the pirate vessel at full sail. Oh, I like that one. All right, you got to get some points here. I'm giving you 2 for your heroic work on fixing this fucking thing. Then a furious storm forced the Yarly to take anchor in Pelico Bay. Fueled by frustration, Flinzer flew into the storm-tossed bay and rammed the pirate vessel at full sail. I've never heard take anchor, just anchor. Anchors are some of the hardest objects to take. Well, if you're brave enough and have the right lube. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, we couldn't really. Let's see. Yeah. Take anchor. It's a thing. There's an album named it there. Mistake. Which avenue you take? How long does editing take? Anchor English. We specialize in, let's say, dissertations and theses. Up to 10,000 words. It takes 13 days from the edit something. We do like 10,000 words in about 7 days. So we're even jacking off all day here. All right, let's take. I think Moonless Midnight is way anchor, or is that lifting it? Uh, drop anchor. Oh, hold on. Let's see how that sounds. Then a furious storm forced the Yarly to drop anchor. And oh yeah, drop anchor is better. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. Let's give Brongulus a point for, oh Lord, because yeah, take anchor. Take anchor, I think, is correct, but irregular. I think you can get away with it, but drop is better. At moonless midnight, they seize the ship and clap the pirate captain and his officers in chains. Flinzer gave the surviving sailors and slaves their freedom and the broken boat. Stripes spoke up and asked if he could sign on. I like this, yeah. Apparently, in the moonlight, blood appears quite black. Ooh. At moonless midnight, Flinzer's force seized the ship and clapped the pirate captain. I could, I could do. You could, uh, clap the corrupt captain and his obsequious officers in chains. Um, I guess you would call a let's see, pert. Oh, we can just use Corsair. Uh, Picaroon. Oh wow, this is a good one. So he's an oathbreaker too. Then yeah, we could just say the. I guess he's a turncoat captain. It's a shame that there's not a. Here's how we're gonna do this. And uh, uh let's see. As the storm broke, Flinzer's force seized the ship. Or it could be the storm built to clap their cheeks. I'm sure there was a little bit of buggery going on, in the midst of this battle. But I mean, it's a ship after all. No, Dawn broke is too far. Mm-hmm. Let's see. With a brace of bounty hunters at his back, Flinzer boarded the pirate ship. After a bloody battle, Flinzer's force seized the ship. Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck. This is why we don't do like actual writing on the stream normally. It just takes forever, and it's harder with an audience. uh, Flinzer's ship flew into the storm-tossed bay and rammed the pirate vessel at full sail. With a brace of bounty hunters at his back, Flinzer boarded the ship. I guess you could call them like swashbucklers, which is crazy. Um, no, swashbucklers is too much. I kind of want to say like a bloody battle on the rocking planks or something like that. Began a bloody battle upon the pitching planks. Ooh, I like the single combat part. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. I like the prideful pirate. Let's see. Let me see. But on Flinger's side, he just crushes the pirate captain. What if the combat is a mirror of the pursuit on the boat? But on Flinger's side, oh yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that he just throws his officers overboard. I'm stuck on this moonless midnight. I like. The prideful pirate accepted the duel, but he was more a sailor than a swordsman. Flinzer ran him through. Yeah, I'm not gonna do the moonless midnight is gay. Let's just put it out there. Is gay. We can't fit that into our tale. I wanted it though. I'm also gonna give the milkness a point because I think it's a good idea to have it be a parallel of he could get away, but yeah, yeah, it's dope. Is it storm tossed or storm racked bay? Can we do? Flinzer's ship flew into the storm beset bay. Oh, I like that a little better. Um, with a brace of bounty hunters at his back, Flinzer boarded the ship and challenged the Yarly to single combat upon the pitching planks. The prideful pirate accepted the duel, but he was more a sailor than a swordsman. Flinzer ran him through. Flinzer ran him through, looted his ship, and cast his officers overboard. He offered the surviving sailors and slaves their freedom and the broken boat. Stripes spoke up and asked if he could sign on with Flinzer instead. Akem never forgave a slight and never forgot a favor. Stripes was the one. He would follow Flinzer forever. Oh, I love this. This is so much better than what we had there. So now, I think we added like 100 words to the story there. But now, like I've got like this whole more backstory about Stripes and Flinzer, and this will pay fruit later on, um, because the relationship between Stripes and Flinzer is part of the story, and now we just have, and also like it powers up Flinzer a little bit more in his youth, right? It gives some credence to the idea that he would try and track down Three Wolf. Um, yeah, he was young and wild then. Flinzer ran him through, looted his ship, and cast his officers overboard. He offered the surviving sailors and slaves their freedom and the broken boat, and command of the broken boat. Stripes spoke up and asked if he could sign on with Flinzer instead. Okay, cool. Stripes is your boy. She read through the whole Vespertine Vixen thing. I think Vespertine Vixen is fine. Wait, what the fuck? What the hell? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Relating to occurring in the evening. It's like a evening fox. Crepuscular. And fox and R are crepuscular. Um, so zoom through the edit streams, yeah. So stupid. I'm leaving that in, by the way. I will fight. Like, I don't think we'll get. We might get like an editor for that story, but oh yeah. All right, so how we have like a lot of flashbacks in the Flinzer chapters because he's an old man, and we're always fucking old men, such as yours truly. We're always like wool gathering and flashing back and so forth. But let's just make sure that, and we add a lot of action to this chapter too, and we add a bunch of sea stuff to the chapter. So I kind of like it. But hold on, let's just take a look at. So we start at 19, and do we turn this into a chapter that's so long? 19 to 26. No, that's perfect. The chapter was too short before. So I usually try to make chapters about 7 pages. Um, you don't have to do that, but I do it generally just to get like a flow. Like, it's about how long it takes me to make a point. Certain of Stripes, Flinzer turned. Well, hold on, let's read this whole thing that we added once more. Ives and Ames were wide awake and watching. The tension cried louder than a cockerel. Stripes snored on. Stripes was an old Cimmerian galley slave who'd worked every port in the lake. Let's make sure that galley slave means what, because I think galley means a slave rowing in a galley. Okay, cool. All right, that's not too bad. No, look at these characters. Slave gal. Oh, it's a TV trope. Is that Ben-Hur? Okay. What do we got there? Stripes was an old Cimmerian galley slave who'd worked every port in the lake. Stripes was an old, because he's not working. He's a slave. Slaves do work, but the tension cried louder than a cockerel really offends me on a deep primal level. Good. I'm keeping it. Stripes snored on. Stripes was an old Cimmerian galley slave who'd seen every port on the lake. Let's make it on the arc. Who'd seen every port upon the arc. Flinzer had seen him sleep. Oh, wait. That's why, because we had the scene in the next one. Stripes was an old Cimmerian galley slave who'd rowed every port upon the ark. Flinzer had seen him sleep through earthquakes and monsoons. Stripes was stoic and slow, by far the best of them with a bow. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop took a contract to catch a Yarly privateer who'd turned full pirate. We won't call him. Can we call him grizzled and gray? I mean, he is gray in this. This is just. I'm just patterning all my characters on Zartet from now on. He was the hero of our last adventure, and let me see. For an entire season, Flinzer was outsailed by the Yarly. Can I say the wily Yarly? For an entire season, Flinzer was outsailed by the wily Yarly Corsair. Yeah, I'm doing wily. Yeah, let's do Corsair. Wait, actually, hold on. Let's get the exact meaning of Corsair, because I don't know. It may not just be a synonym for sailor. Like a Corsair might only be a fast ship used for piracy. Oh. Oh, so it's more of a ship and like a Barbary coast. Truly wily Yarly. Yeah. All right, so we run into a little trouble here. Let's see. Because like it's tough to like have both galley slaves and corsairs. Uh, oh, yeah, let's call it a cog. It's like a lumbering cog. Uh, Single-masted vessels, clinker built with. Oh yeah, I like his lumbering cog. Late Middle Ages. Yeah, he wouldn't. He wouldn't have a. Yeah. The renegade corsair danced from port to port, always a horizon ahead of Flinzer's lumbering cog. Oh yeah. A lifetime ago, Flinzer's troop took a contract to catch a Yarly privateer who turned full pirate. For an entire season, Flinzer was outsailed by the wily Yarly captain. The renegade corsair danced from port to port, always a horizon ahead of Flinzer's lumbering cog. Then a furious storm forced the. Wait, Then a furious storm forced the Yarly to drop anchor in Pellicle Bay. Fueled by frustration, Flinzer's ship flew into the storm-beset bay. Oh, yeah. Let's just take out storm-beset bay. Flinzer's ship flew into the storm and rammed the pirate vessel at full sail. With a brace of bounty hunters at his back, Flinzer boarded the ship and challenged the Yarly. Oh, yeah. Flinzer boarded the ship and challenged the Yarly captain to single combat upon the pitching planks. The prideful pirate accepted the duel, but he was more sailor. But he was more sailor than swordsman. He was more a sailor than a swordsman. All right. Flinzer ran him through, looted his ship, and cast his officers overboard. He offered the surviving sailors and slaves their freedom and command of the broken boat. Stripes spoke up and asked if he could sign on with Flinzer's troop instead. Akem never forgave a slight and never forgot a favor. Stripes was the one. He would follow Flinzer forever. Oh, I like this. So we established like a lot of cool stuff there. One, Flinzer is a shitty sailor. Two, he's a decent swordsman. And three, Stripes and Flinzer have like a strong relationship. And so Stripes is loyal to Flinzer and has never forgotten that he sprang him from this ship, where he could have just thrown him overboard with the other Yarly sea dogs. All right, cool. Certain of Stripes, Flinzer turned to Ives and Ames. They were the youngest of the bunch. The pair were both sulcuric shepherds from opposite ends of the smaze. The volcanic valley swirled with smoke and seethed with strife. Ives and Ames tribes, Ames and Ives tribes had been in. That's why we have Ives there, to get Ives tribes. Ames and Ives tribes had been embroiled in a blood feud for better than 1,000 years. Let's see. All right, so Okay, so because we're going to use Ames and Ives later, one, it makes sense to keep their names A then I. Um, it's not like a hard rule, but generally, for want of anything better to do, when you're listing several names, you just do them alphabetically if it fits phonetically. Certain of Stripes, Flinger returned to Ames and Ives. They were the youngest of the bunch. The pair were both so. They were once sulcaric shepherds from opposite ends of the smaze. The volcanic valley swirled with smoke and seethed with strife. Ames and Ives tribes. I have no Ames and Ives's tribes. Ames and Ives tribes had been embroiled in a blood feud for better than 1,000 years. The pair joined up 2 years ago. The pair signed on separately 2 years ago, comma. Flinzer was loath to hire both, but Flinzer was loath to hire both, but it had to be done. He badly needed men at the time. That was a sad, bloody season where Flinzer lost 6 in the frantic street fighting that followed the fall of Panger's palisade. Against misgivings, he signed on both shepherds. Against misgivings, he hired both men. 2 insufferable months of rivalry culminated in an all-night fistfight that both men somehow lost. As often happens, the shepherds became implacable friends after beating the stuffing out of each other. We could inseparable friends would be more. Let's make sure that implacable is the word that I want. Not to be appeased, mollified, or pacified, inexorable.
Implacable.
Yeah, it's not right. I think inseparable is the word that I wanted. Let's see. Engram's not found. Implacable foes? Well, if you don't spell it right, you're not going to get any. Okay. So implacable friends almost never used. In the 1800s, friendship could be implacable. Implacable has used to be like a big deal. Oh, so this is Google Ngram Viewer. This is really cool, actually. You can basically take any phrase and it will go through all the archives of stuff that they have to determine the relative frequency of it. So you can see that implacable friends is like occurs at a much. So friendship can be implacable, but it was never. There are more. Yeah, so this gives us the idea. Inseparable friends. Okay. So from time to time, like when I'm like, all right, would anybody ever use this? So implacable has more of a context of an enemy than a friend. Almost always there. Inseparable cohorts? No. Oh, so just like for your knowledge, it's alluded to later in the story that these two are homosexual lovers. So they're not really cohorts, unless they're chortling on each other's cocks. Cohorts is not a phrase that I would use to describe two men. That the story at least shades that they're gay. But anyhow, let's see. Oh, we got 100 messages. They're in cahoots. Yeah, getting in them boots. All right, what do we got? Flinzer glanced around his camp. 4 men left from 40. Flinzer glanced around his camp. He had 4 men left from 40. What if they all go? What if I'm left alone? I don't like this right here. Yeah, I didn't like that aside. I do like the idea of him. It's also that sentence is at odds with what he says next. Maybe the camp should have fucking. Oh, we could call it a dreary camp. The camp is, what is this camp? So it's like a cold gray, covered in feathers and bird shit. Flinzer had 4 men left from 40. Now, we don't even need to describe it. We described the camp earlier. Like, it's already fixed in the reader's mind. Everything is cold and spackled with bird shit. Flinzer had 4 men left from 40. If you want to leave, they went that way. Flinzer pointed south. Maybe I ought to be leading instead of leaving, Cocker quipped. Oh, who do you think would follow? Flinzer snorted. I'll tell you one thing. I'd have shown more grit to that grotty geezer. To that grotty old Moraney. There we go. I like this. I'll tell you one thing. I'd have shown a bit more grit to grotty old Moraney. We'd be sleeping snug inside that keep instead of pecked to pieces. Mark me. I'll tell you one thing. I'd have shown a bit more grit to grotty old Moraney. We'd all be sleeping snug inside that keep instead of pecked to pieces. So we need a comma after before instead. Cocker's an asshole. Perhaps you missed the pikes pointed at my throat, the snipers pawned the parapets, the naked hate aflame on Moraney's hog. Oh no! This is too much. I wish I could save Marini's heinous hog end of a face. Yeah, yeah. Did you miss the pikes pointed at my throat? The snipers upon the parapets? Did you miss the pikes pointed at my throat? The snipers upon the parapets? Did you see Marini's heinous hog end of a face? Get the scales out of your eyes and realize we were never getting inside, cocker. Marini's a dried up pig pucker. Regret it, rue it, that's all there is to it. Oh, Lord. This, Did you not see Marini's highness? Can I? I don't think I can get away with it. I really want to. Did you miss those pikes pointed at my throat? The snipers upon the parapets? Did you miss the pikes pointed at my throat? Did you not see the sour smirk on Marini's heinous hog end of a face? Get the scales out of your eyes and realize we were never getting inside, cocker. Marini's a dried up pig pucker. Regret it, rue it. That's all there is to it. All right. I like it. It's a little bit better. So scales out of your eyes. It's a Bible thing. The phrase in question originally comes from the Bible in the book of Acts, where it describes the final event in Apostle Paul's conversion to Christianity, and immediately there fell from his eyes as had been scales, and he received sight forthwith. Weird. Paul had been struck blind in an encounter with Christ. Metaphor of scales falling from his eyes. Let's see. Fish would have been a regular part of their diet. Fish scales are semi-opaque. I wonder if they're just. Oh yeah. Regret it, rue it. Is all there is to it. I mean, we're trying to be as lyrical as possible. So I know also in the book of Tobit, they have like fish gall used to cure Tobit's blindness or some dumb shit like that, which doesn't work. Let's see. I don't know what the hell it's drawing. I don't know that I believe that this is accurate. Something like scales fell from his eyes, because scale could just mean like the crust in his eyes. Oh, are you missing any points, Milkness, from earlier? I think you made a suggestion that I implemented. Acts 9:18. And they're talking about Saul here instead of Paul. What the hell? Indrin. Yes, many points. All right, well, like, fill me in. Do I have to go back through this fucking chat? We didn't take Desolate. We Brongulus gets a point for dropping. Oh no, he just wanted to set of friends cohorts. We didn't take that. Brongulus says that people are implacable enemies, never implacable friends, which is something I did implement, but I think he got it to. All right, let me give Brongulus that one there. I think. Let me see if I missed anything else. Cohorts, cahoots. Leave Corsair. I did leave Corsair. I like Wiley. Grizzled and Gray. All right, I think that's everybody. I'm going to give Milkness 1. Because I was going to leave Wiley in, but I appreciate the voice of sympathy. All right. You guys are still neck and neck on this. Did you miss those pikes pointed at my throat? Did you not see the sour smirk on Marini's heinous hog end of a face? Get the scales out of your eyes and... Okay, so... Scales out of your eyes is like a biblical... we could say, get the smut out of your eyes. Although it's just... So smut, before it meant like pornography, it used to mean just like schmaltz or schmutz. I think schmutz actually came... It's like stuff, but stuff that you don't want. I believe that smut's origin... Hold on. Now, this I want to know. Because I'm just freestyling here, but I bet it comes from Hebrew at some point. Etymology from Middle English smutten, to defile or debase, related to German schmutz, filter, schmutzen, to make dirty, stain. Etymology is incomplete. Smida, to smear. Oh, okay, so it's Old English. Schmutzen. So it's not Yiddish or whatever. I thought it would have come from Hebrew or something. I like the scales. I knew what it meant straight away. It's a... So I think we can get away with it, even though it is a biblical reference, because eye gunk or whatever, you know, like the shit that forms in your eyes, is kind of scaly too. So that could be like a simpler meaning there. Flake or soot. All right, I'm gonna keep it. But you know, it's also as we're writing like fantasy stuff, very, very difficult to avoid references to Christianity. They are... Oh, wait. My Mac will fall asleep soon unless plugged into a power outlet. Hold on. Let me do that. No. Shit stains on the ceiling. All right, cool. All right, I was wondering why things weren't charging for days and days, and it turned out that they were turned off. If you're blind or have cataracts, they can appear like fish scales in the eye. Yeah. All right, well, I'm just jazzed to hear the scales thing. You know, we learn a lot on these editing streams. And it's all just because I'm curious whether or not I fuck something up, which I have. Marini's just a dried up pig pucker. Regret it, rue it, that's all there is to it. All right, so... These need to be separate clauses, or separate sentences. Marini's just a dried up pig pucker. Regret it, rue it, that's all there is to it. I just think you could have... No one gives a dwarf's dingus what you think, big talker cocker. You want to lead? Do it. What bounty do you think the 5 of us can get that's better than the course I've set? What's your plan, man? Cocker was caught off guard. He hadn't thought that far ahead, and it was precisely the problem. Flinzer let him flounder. Cocker was caught off guard. He hadn't thought that far ahead, which was precisely the problem. Flinzer let him flounder. Bloodaxe and Went must have had some notion. Elsewise, they wouldn't have left. Why don't we halt this half-baked, crow-cursed hunt? Let's find them and bring them back into the fold, Cocker proposed. Okay, cool. Flinzer saw right through his bluster. The real issue was, Cocker was afraid and looking for an excuse to break. He'd have left last night if the others had wanted him along. Flinzer saw right through his bluster. The real issue was, Cocker was afraid and looking for an excuse to break. He'd have left last night if the others had wanted him along. I like that a lot. where it's like the others are bailing and they don't want him. Mm. Mm-hmm. We don't need to chase them. There isn't half a brain betwixt those two. They fled from fear, not foresight. No, this is too... We don't need to chase after them. All right, so we... Half a brain. They really shouldn't have hyphens there. Hold on. Let me just make sure that you're right there. There we go. Let me see. All right. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it would be hyphenated. There isn't half a brain betwixt those two. They fled from fear. They fled from fear, not foresight. Let me tell you exactly how it's going to go. Wayward went, and base buttocks will waddle no more than half a day away. Half a day away? Yes, Brongulus is from Not Math on formerly Freenode, now Liberia. So how did I can't remember how I got in there. I think I was in there. I went to Not Math trying to figure out the probability on some tarot card shits. And it was like a very simple question, but I am utterly mathematically illiterate. And they did not ban me for asking questions as they would have in the regular math channel. And I started talking with Rabba and Bradius and Dunscotus and so forth. It's really like a cool crew of people. And they all play League of Legends too. So like we're all attainted with the same venomous video game. That is a story of Pound Not Math of Freenode. It's a good channel. Like when Freenode died, that was the only channel where I was sad that they were gone or whatever. I was really only ever on Freenode to troll. There are no good channels there except for Not Math that I'm aware of. Okay. We don't need to chase after them because there isn't half a brain betwixt those two. They fled from fear, not foresight. Let me tell you exactly how it's going to go. Yeah. Hyphenation like that is when you string words together to make form a collective adjective. If the phrase isn't doing, so half a brain in this case would, oh, that's cool. So it's making it into an adjectival phrase. Yeah. And so half a day also wouldn't get hyphenated, which is another spot where I was like, man, maybe I hyphenate that. They fled from fear, not foresight. Let me tell you exactly how it's going to go, Crocker. Let me tell you exactly how this will go, Cocker. Wayward went, and base buttocks will waddle no more than half a day away, comma. No, there's no comma. Before they realize they have made a colossal mistake. They'll crawl back by sunset, tails between their legs. Okay, so we are taking out all the like English style preface omission here. They'll crawl back by sunset with tails between their legs. Let's take out with. They'll crawl back by sunset, tails between their legs. They have no choice. Summer's done. No other troop will take them. Okay. They have no choice. Summer's done. They have tails between their legs. They have no choice. Summer's done. No other troop will take them. If those two turn brigand, we'll be hunting them down come spring. I just think that Cocker kept chattering. Okay. We don't need that. I just think that, hey, Cocker. Stripes cut Cocker off. Bedrock that he was, Stripes was still flat on his back. He spoke straight up at the sullen sky. Yeah, Cocker took the bait. Road's that way. Stripes pointed at his toe. Ives and Ames nodded at each other. Flinzer felt a surge of hope. They were still with him. All right. I see how it is. So I don't want hissed. What we want is something that's like pouted but more manly. Synonyms. Mood. Moed. To make a sad face. Oh yeah, sulk is more what we wanted. Hopefully I didn't use sulk elsewhere. All right, I see how it is, Cocker sulked. Theatrically, he began to pack. Cut it, Cocker. Flinzer held out a hand. Shamefaced, Cocker continued to shove stuff into his bird-pecked backpack. Oh, no. Ugh. We have no real quarrel. It's a sorry situation that's got us vexed. Moraine is a scabby old gult with no morals and no manners. Old gult. We have no real quarrel. It's the sorry situation that's got us vexed. Moraine's a scabby old goat with no morals and no manners. As for the night birds, so, this three wolf's a witch. Well, so what? I've run down witches before. They bleed like anyone else. If anything, he's tipped his hand trying to scare us off. It won't work. The men brightened a bit at his bravado. Flinzer was, after all, the only one who'd stood tall. The men brightened a bit at his bravado. Flinzer was, after all, the only one who'd stood tall against the madness of crows. I say, enough gloom and doom. Pride has no place in pursuit. There's a tavern at the end of the day, and we're well overdue for a break. If you want to, you can stalk off and dwindle away all winter in this godforsaken waste. As for me, I mean to take down Three Wolf and get some revenge for my poor old bedroll. And get some revenge for my pecked-apart bedroll. The four-way split would suit me fine. Okay, so here, we're hyphenating four-way because I have learned something from Brongulus, because four-way is an adjective. Yeah, I also like the revenge. I like pecked apart instead of poor old there. Even though we use pecked backpack a little bit further. Just to remind people that all their shit has been attacked by birds. Cocker's mouth made a tight line. Flinzer almost had him back. I tell you what else, boys. I'm going to take that big, beautiful bounty and seed it until it blooms into an army of bounty hunters. I'll call them up from all over the lake. When summer rolls around, I am going to siege Skywark and sack that stupid keep. I'll hang Moraine by the balls over his own moat. I'll hang Moraine by the balls over his own moat. I like that. Flinzer screwed up his face and did a sour impression of old man Moraine's. Flinzer screwed up his face into a crinkled impression of Old Man Moraines and spat. Cocker had to laugh, and it caught on. They were still chuckling when dawn broke. They were still snickering when dawn broke. Okay, cool. So that is le chapter de trois. Trois, I guess. Let me see. All right, so let's look over a little bit chapter 3. What did we learn? Well, we learned that hyphens are into a crinkled impression. Let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we lost an A. All right, I'm actually going to give Brongulus 2. Because he actually impressed upon me how adjectival phrases are hyphenated, which is something that I should have learned long ago, but I did not. Okay, so pretty jazzed about this chapter. We spent a lot of time entering in the backstory with Stripes, but I'm happy that we spent an hour on that paragraph. It makes the story like a little bit cooler to me. I think we have cleaned up some of his language there. And now you start to see the characters hopefully start to come a little bit alive here. Now we can see that there is interplay between the characters. Like Flinzer's hold over these men is not strong, right? We know that he used to have 40 men in his troop, and now he's down to just these 4 dudes, right? Going after this legend. We know that they understand that Three Wolf is some kind of witch, and he doesn't give a shit. We can see sort of like Flinzer's bravery drawing these men together, and he has like some tact to try and reel Cocker back in, even though Cocker is kind of insufferable. But we may have toned down a little bit how insufferable Cocker was here. Let's see. What do you think? Is Cocker going to survive this story? Like, show of hands at this point. Oh, also, I didn't get if anybody knew what drabber was. I think everybody was asleep at that point. But a drabber is like a womanizer. But it is a very uncommon usage of it. Hair product that works against natural color. One who associates with drabs a wencher. So it is obsolete, and then a drab to pluck. By extension, somebody uninteresting or whatever. All right, Brongulus thinks that he will survive. He showed some spine. They will all show some spine. None of these characters are meant to be just throwaway characters that I can just slay. Like if anybody's gonna die, they're gonna die hard. Is my theory there. All right, so we end this with Bradius in the lead with 7, Milkness at 5, Catalyst, and Steven Stuff at a pathetic 1, and then Pancakes rocking with 2. Cocker is indeed a whiner, and he will continue to whine throughout the story. But also, he's a decent driver and a helpful heel. He can always be relied upon to supply a straw man fit to flog, and that's something we all need in our lives. Let's see. Pike's pointed at my throat. Yeah. I think we describe Morani as sour a little too much. I think we took out the second instance of it there. All right, so chapter 4 is... oh, no. I won't poison them even slightly. Hold on. Did we fuck up the chapters? Oh, yeah. I always do this. Okay, so I always misnumber my chapters and then have to go through and fix them all. All right, so how is chapter 3 going to start out tomorrow? Can you... I can scarcely wait to start on this chapter 4. Let's see. All right, so here's the paragraph that will begin tomorrow. Absolutely not. I won't poison a patron, not even slightly. If you want them dead, do it yourself. Her blue eyes were clear and cold as a glacier. Liline crossed her arms over her chest, stubbornness manifest. I know Zeros had 2 chapter 8s. Oh, it did. It's even worse when you have like a story that's like 100 fucking chapters, and then you have to go back and reseat each chapter because you're like moving around and doing all this bullshit. All right, cool. Well, I'm excited for the book. We're 3 days in, And we're at page 27, which means we're averaging 9 pages a day, which is not too bad. All right, and if you want to find out about Lileen and why she might be crossing her arms over her allegedly prodigious chest, you can tune in tomorrow. Thank you to Bradius and Milkness for making this somewhat more bearable. Don't forget, let's see, this hat is at stake. Only one will get to wear the coveted Edit Ace hat, and hopefully not through headphones like that. This is my night off before evening ships. I hope you have a fruitful edit. Aw, yeah, I don't understand why you got to work for a living. It's dumb. Like, we should all stop doing that. Alas. All right. Well, thank you to everybody for joining in. I'm having a capital time with this edit, and I hope it will persist for these many days until we eventually get to it. We're going to get through the story a little bit. I am planning with this one. I think I will then, because I haven't got a fucking. I do not have a cover for it yet, so I may just do the whole process of like coming up with a cover and the process of typesetting, and I may even go through like all the AWS steps to do it there. Oh yeah, man, Brongulus is a smart dude. All right, holler at him. All right, let me get out of here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow.